Alright, for this one, the photo booth, would you destroy it or would you just lock it? I feel like this one's easier to deal with. You just lock the photo booth off, you know? And then you're good. But there's like a little hypnotization kind of thing. So would you destroy this one or would you lock this one up? Comment down below. Alright, this one is SCP-715. My face that I may be. My face that I may be. I don't know. By Dr. Bob. Alright, let's start. Oh, there you go.
It's Saturday night, and a teenaged boy and girl are out on a date. They're strolling through a shopping mall with plans to see a movie later at the theater attached to the mall. As they walk through the mall waiting for their show to start, the girl spots something. It's a photo booth. She excitedly grabs the boy's hand.
Is that the
and pulls
SCP,
him
the
inside.
photo booth?
They close the curtain, insert a coin, and the machine comes to life, snapping a series of photos. The two exit the booth.
Uh-oh.
But both
That
seem
last
to
one
be a
doesn't look
little
good.
off. It's getting close to showtime, though, so they start making their way to the movie theater. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to the mall patrons, something is happening deep below the ground. The boy and girl exit the theater and walk arm in arm through the alley back toward the parking lot where the boy left his car.
What was
It's
that?
late now. The sun has long since set, and they're all alone. But they don't hear the footsteps behind them, or sense the pair of bodies that are following them, getting closer and closer.
Is that them?
They get to the car. It's the only one left in the parking lot. And the boy takes out his keys to unlock the car.
Oh my
when
god,
he
of
fumbles
course you're gonna
and
drop
drops
it.
them to the ground. As he bends over to pick them up, he finally sees who has been following them. It's them. A pair of doppelgangers coming straight towards them. They look exactly like
They
the
got
boy
no
and girl,
face.
except for their faces,
Jeez.
which are horribly distorted, with strange lumps and no eyes or mouths. They look as though they were a drawing of a face that was somehow smudged out. The boy quickly gets the keys and grabs the girl, dragging her away from the creatures, who are now reaching for the boy and girl, grasping and clawing at their faces as they try to moan through their skin-covered mouths. He gets the car unlocked, and both manage to get inside. As the creatures bang on the windows, the boy starts the engine and drives away, leaving the abominations behind.
But they don't have emotion though.
I'm Dr. Bob, and this is
What happened in there, bro?
also known as My Face That I May Be.
That I may be.
SCP-715 is a take-your-own-photo brand photo booth, a product of the Sony Corporation made in the 1970s.
Damn, Sony.
This is a standard-looking photo booth, bearing
Made
a
a
close
SCP.
resemblance to the many thousands of others that were in operation around the world at the time, with no anomalous visual characteristics at all. The only detail setting this machine apart from its countless brethren is a small metal tag, which has been added to the back of the machine at some point. But a significant amount of wear has made it impossible to read what, if anything, was ever stamped on the tag. SCP-715's basic operation is also not anomalous in appearance. It will only activate if an individual sits inside and inserts the required coinage, at which point it will take a series of photos, just like a normal photo booth. The photos will also appear normal.
Wait, when they came out of the photo booth, they kind of don't have the emotion, right? Like they kind of like they weren't smiling. They weren't like that. I'm thinking their face got stolen. Those people that don't have faces are the original, and their face got stolen.
Though often some will be heavily distorted and obscure the subject's face in various ways. What truly sets this photo booth apart, however, is what happens outside of the booth when the pictures are taken. While the individuals who had their photos taken, classified as SCP-715-B instances,
like they look like
are able to
they look
exit the
bland,
booth with
bro.
no
They're not
obvious
smiling
effects.
anymore.
Below them all, deep underground, something truly terrifying takes place.
That's them,
Underneath
bro.
the mall is
Got
Site
sent down there,
81715, an extra-dimensional space which is accessible through a mall maintenance service door located in Sub-Basement 3, a door that does not appear on any of the mall's structural...
Or it's still them, but the machine drained their emotions or something like.
Blueprints
We'll
or
see.
in other
We'll see.
records. The site consists of a giant cavernous room, which appears to have been hewn right out of the surrounding limestone. In the middle of the room is its most distinguishing feature, a large, deep pit.
It's
The walls of the pit are made of an unidentified substance, though it appears similar in both appearance
the
and
pit.
composition to human fat tissue.
Yeah.
These fleshy walls secrete a powerful, corrosive substance, which makes examination and exploration of the pit particularly
Yes.
dangerous. When SCP-715 is activated in the mall above,
Then
a
how did it
humanoid
get out of
creature,
there?
classified as SCP-715-A, will appear in this pit. The bodies of these creatures are similar in appearance to the individuals who had their picture taken inside of 715, but their faces are radically different. Each has severe facial disfigurements and abnormalities, such as large growths, deep lacerations, and the absence of facial features. After appearing in the pit, these SCP-715-A instances will attempt to scale the fleshy walls of the pit and leave
So
Site
they're
81715. These
Those are
instances
copies,
are
huh?
considered hostile, and Foundation security personnel are authorized to neutralize the creatures by any means necessary. Further research into how the SCP-715-A entities are formed and what exactly the pit is are ongoing, and it's not currently known how many 715-A instances exist down in the pit. With the entities who were able to climb out of the pit able to be relatively easily neutralized by security forces, SCP-715 was originally classified as safe. It was contained at its point of origin within the mall in Ohio, and Foundation personnel posing as mall employees would collect the photos printed by the machine. However, following additional discoveries, this classification necessitated changing. The Foundation began noticing inconsistencies with SCP-715-B entities after a researcher tested SCP-715 himself by sitting inside and having his photo taken. Soon after, he began acting in ways that were considered strange, such as when he turned down a promotion to a prominent position with better pay and perks for seemingly no reason, and when he skipped a mandatory site inspection for reality-bending anomalies. After noticing these strange behaviors, a Foundation research head had an anomalous optical enhancement device placed in the
Am I
oddly
right?
acting
These are the
researcher's bedroom
copies?
and learned a surprising truth about the SCP-715-A and B entities.
They switched
The
places, huh?
Foundation had been killing the wrong ones.
Oh.
The device, which could remove anomalous reality-distorting effects from images, showed that the researcher was actually one of the creatures from the pit with the telltale facial distortions. Following this shocking revelation, the research head used the same device on the creatures still inside the pit underneath the mall. They found that when the anomalous visual effects were removed from the distorted creatures who were trying to get out of the fleshy pit, that they were actually normal-looking humans.
Yeah, they
These
switched places.
SCP-715-A entities were the human beings who had entered the photo booth, had their pictures
Did they
taken,
fall?
and were somehow transported to the pit. They had been trying to escape their prison and tell the Foundation who they really were, but this only resulted in them being terminated by the on-site security forces. In order to fix this mistake, SCP-715 was hastily reclassified as Keter, and SCP-715 was removed from the mall in order to be stored in a secure locker at Site 19. Research personnel were no longer able to access SCP-715.
I mean, it should be safe if you have it locked
and
up,
study
right?
of the interior was limited to what could be done via remote drone use only. The Foundation began rounding up all known instances of SCP-715-B, who are now the ones subjected to immediate termination. Foundation staff did manage to interview one 715-B instance, though, who had been previously believed to be a fellow Foundation researcher. It is unknown exactly what the researcher doppelganger said in that interview, but it must have been extremely serious, as the end result was another complete change in protocol. All attempts to contain and neutralize instances of SCP-715-B would immediately cease, since if there were as many out in the world as the doppelganger claimed, then ultimately, it would better maintain normalcy and ensure the secrecy of SCP-715 if they were allowed to go free. Sadly, the same was not the case for the SCP-715-A instances that still existed down in the pit. The researcher doppelganger advised that it would be unwise to remove them from the pit, and the current Foundation policy is that down in the pit is where they will remain. Following this interview,
Bro, why you listen?
SCP-715 was
Why are you listening to a doppelganger, bro? Say what?
reclassified once again as safe. The
Safe?
photo booth was also moved again, this time to a maximum security storage locker at Site-81, and
Makes
Foundation
sense, makes
personnel
sense.
have been prohibited from interacting with SCP-715-B instances at all. However, there is one more piece of information about SCP-715, and it is only accessible to those with proper security clearance. Another Foundation agent was found to actually be an instance of SCP-715-B and taken into custody for observation. While under surveillance, it was discovered that this instance, classified as SCP-715-B7, was emitting low-level radiation that was somehow directed at Site-81-715, the location of the pit.
Bro, is the pit
During
alive?
an autopsy of the creature, it was found that the radioactive emissions were actually increasing in output and frequency, and soon after, a power outage and containment breach occurred at the site where the autopsy took place. Following these events, the body of SCP-715-B7 disappeared, and video surveillance confirmed that several members of Foundation staff were responsible, all of whom had been involved in SCP-715 research. The staff members escaped with the body and left no other evidence behind, save for a single photo with the ominous text, "My ears that I may hear, my eyes that I may see, my mouth that I may speak. Do not touch my face." No other information regarding
I guess.
SCP-715 has been found, and many questions remain. Just what are instances of 715-B, and what do they want? Are they some kind of hive mind colony that reproduces through the use of a mysterious photo booth? What happens to those left behind in the pit? And what will they do should they ever get out? Investigations are ongoing. Now go and watch another entry from the files of...
Well, what is this, bro? Okay, bro. Like, I'm assuming the doppelgangers kind of manipulated the system on that. You know, they kind of like they're the one that did that. Oh, don't, you know? There's a lot of them. There's no point of taking all of them. It's just gonna expose it, right? Because I don't know. This one's. There was a twist though. We found out that the one with normal faces are not the normal people. Okay. Alright.